Hi, Master Peter Brusso here, again with podcast number 2 of our series, and Harry is back with me. Welcome, Harry. How you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me back, Peter.
Good, good. That was kind of fun last time.
Yeah.
So we have a bit of an agenda to roll along here. I thought that it might be good to discuss with our fans and clients, where am I going now and what's going on, and behind Defender Central. You were down over the weekend and saw everything that I was doing and whatnot, and I want to go and take a look at our Kanji again. We showed some of our Kanji last week, and again, same tool. But with a brand like this, I had some real fun input. One person said, I wished I could write like that. And I said, well, go to the Orient. It takes you 3,000 characters like this to become literate, to write, to read or write. But that's going over well. And then that leads me into, I want to show our what's new page. That's kind of sort of
Yes. Show us what's going on with the man scientist lab out there.
What's going on here. Let me minimize this, get that out of the way. All right, so here we are on the Defender site, PDWS.biz, and when I put up new stuff, the new stuff comes to the top, and the bottom stuff goes on down. But here's a chunk of video, about 3 minutes, about our Kanji. And so here's what our Kanji looks like. Exactly.
Peter, how are you putting
all
the
the
Kanji
glare
on your Defender?
Pardon me?
How are you putting your Kanji on the Defender?
Well, so glad you asked. We have it was quite the process. It's a brand. It's a branding iron, literally.
Really?
Yeah, and
Interesting.
we've had a branding iron, and we stopped using it about 8 years ago. It was a small brand, nice, but the problem is when you heat it up and without the correct fixturing, when you try to brand on acrylic, when it gets hot, it will scoop. And it would blur the image. So we had a lot of practice out there on the barbecue, on the burner.
I bet you did. I practiced with that.
Oh, and I hated it. I hated it whenever I got one of them. And I loved the idea, and people love the Kanji, and but man, to make them wasn't right. Well, when Ruben got here, our artisan, I kept telling him about this brand, and I'm looking at his drill press basically as a way to hook into that and come down, and it was quite the ordeal to get everything set up. And Ruben had never used a brand before, and these are brand new, and no pun intended, but they're a little larger and more beefy. I mean, really super quality, the company. I'll put a link to the company in the show notes, but they were great. And I was reluctant. This is casting concrete. You give the size, and they have to get you to fit into a certain size and certain thing. And anyway, about $500 later, for 2 branding irons. When they got here, we had some bumping and grinding to try to get it to work out right, and ultimately we're heating from the bottom instead of the top, and there's a bunch of other tomfoolery. But even with the drill press, if you press too hard, it squishes out the side. So Ruben had to spend quite a bit of time on spare parts, by the way, which led to another invention, which we showed a little bit of, but we have a whole segment on these guys, and what these are. But that's the other brand that I had done, PDWS.biz. I'll tell that story. Don't let me forget to tell that story. Part of your job is to keep Mad Scientist on track here. So we got that brand working, and again, it works on everything but the Hannah and the Stealth. We could probably get it in there, but it's on the edge, and it wouldn't be as quality as I like to put out. So I'm just saying no. And of course, any tool that is wrapped, I had it here a second ago. Well, any tool that is wrapped, Well, anyway, so much for getting ready for your show, right? Any
Yeah.
tool that's wrapped with cordage, you wouldn't want to put a brand on that. Anyway, so
Well,
uh,
obviously you wouldn't be able to show your kanji if you're covering up with a wrap.
exactly.
That's like putting a
It's
band-aid over it,
yeah, it's
which
like,
would defeat the
why would
purpose.
you do that? I don't know.
Exactly.
But if a customer wanted that, a customer gets that. That's the deal. But I say no. Anyway,
What does the
uh,
kanji mean?
the kanji actually means it was historically it was given to us. The first symbol is a nin symbol, like in ninjutsu. And in ninjutsu, they have a different bottom symbol. The top one means patient, or sometimes quiet. Um, Ninjas have to stealth up and they have to be really patient about things. They have to wait a lot, and they got to move slow. And you'd think moving slow is easy. It's actually harder than moving fast. And anyway, so a Tai Chi teacher of mine used to watch us train, and most martial artists are, doing their kias and screaming and all that stuff. And there's a place for that, no question. Not with ninjas typically, although there is one sliver that of practicality to that. So he was amazed as he did his thing and we were doing our thing, how quiet we were. We hardly said anything. There was an occasional ouch. There was an occasional percussion on the ground when you throw somebody. There's an occasional gurgle as you're choking them if you're doing a wind choke. If you're doing a blood choke, not so much. They just pass out. So there was a lot of quietness. And so we had a demonstration that we did, and he wanted to demonstrate Tai Chi at this place. Big crowd, big crowd. I said, "Well, no problem." And anyway, so he got he was a calligrapher anyway, very nice Japanese. Everybody that looks at this says, who wrote that? You know, it's gorgeous, absolutely correct. Who did the width? Everything was beautiful. Of course, I didn't know how beautiful it was till much later, how perfect it was as an artist calligrapher. And
Very nice.
so he said, he gave us the name of Patient Spirit, and it fits, So
That's great.
yeah, so that's where it came from. But at any rate, and we used to have, we could ink the old brand up and brand our equipment and things like that. So anyway, kind of the way it was, and all of our certificates have it. So that's on Jingban Fa's brand, but I'm porting it over into the Defenders because that's kind of sort of where it is, belongs. So at any rate,
Very nice.
so the kanji is now up and running, and we might as well go. Well, I want to do the next thing. We'll come back around to how it led us into um, the new cubicle self-defense concept.
Yeah, I didn't get one of them yet. I'm waiting on mine.
We had,
Yes.
it's done. It's been done since Sunday, but we're not done with the holster part. I'm not satisfied with the holster. So
No,
I've got
no.
the
I
tool
said
ready.
no. I was talking about the desktop.
Oh, I
Your
thought I
desktop.
gave you one.
No, no. What
Well,
I did get was your coaster. Your new coaster.
yeah,
That is beautiful. My girlfriend loved the coloring and everything to do with it. It is just beautiful.
it's a
Great
work.
job.
It's a work in progress, and we'll talk about that too. It's a definite work in
Yes, the Mad
progress.
Scientist Lab. I get to see the early sneak peeks
Yeah,
by
and
visiting direct.
that's right. The direct visit, and I told you that our coffee cups are sticking to it, and but that's happened, by the way, with every commercial coaster I've ever had.
This is
Uh,
true.
I have one here from Vistaprint, and it sticks on this thing all the time.
Yes.
So but I think I know why it's sticking on ours, because we triple coated the whole thing, and the last coat is, I think, the problem. Back to now to our next topic is our podcast. I our last podcast, because it's a reboot,
Sure.
and we should just go to that page, is right here, and I moved it to the top tier of our website so they can find it. There's our first one. Okay, so and I've got a time code so people, they want to see the healing crystals we talk about or have talked about, or just we're going to do some more of that today, or our
Sure.
Kanji brand and things like. Anyway, they can speed right to these numbers and see those sections, so they don't have to watch everything if they don't want to. But these are the, oh, also I put our sponsor down here too, which will be over on her
Very
page
nice.
in a few minutes. But these are older podcasts that we did, and so anybody that saw those will remember them, but they're old. And so bringing up a new one in the same vein, I expected a far more slow audience, so to speak. Well, that didn't happen. I was shocked, I told you, oh my gosh, I could not believe the number of people that viewed an hour podcast with us after all these years. And so I think, well, clearly we're doing something right. We'll see what the repeat is for this week, but the topics are good. The topics are something. It's behind the scenes, not so selly. Although I do some selly stuff because people like to know what they can buy and what they don't have in their collection and things like that.
Sure.
So anyway, our podcast stats are pretty crazy. All right, now we'll. By the way, and they can see them when they go on YouTube. If they go on YouTube, and those are
Sure.
just YouTube ones. These aren't even the Vimeo ones.
Right.
I haven't even checked those stats yet. So they are three different places that come to watch us from three different sources. But I suspect we had at least 100 views in the first 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's impressive.
to have a view, it's the whole time.
Yes. The full
If it's
view is 52 minutes, if I remember
51
correctly.
something, yeah, 51 something.
So
If
that's
they
somebody
stop at
really liking what you got.
if they stop at 50, we don't get a count.
Right.
They got to get all the way to the end. So
Right.
I was really shocked, which is good. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I will mention we are looking for other guests to come on. If you've got a Defender story, if you purchase Defenders, if we would love to have you on and talk a little bit about your experience, good, bad, or ugly. Um, if you have another product that would kind of slide in well with my clientele, my customers, I'm more than happy to get you on board with that, because it gives my clients some more options about their self-defense, not an issue. And so that's all good. So
Well, thank you, Peter.
no, what? No, you're a co-host. No, I'm talking about other people.
Yes.
What
But
I
it still applies. It's applicable.
Yes, understand. So, okay, so let's go to our PDWS ad. So here we go back to the branding iron, and Ruben out there with the branding iron, and he's trying both. And the PDWS branding iron is larger than our Kanji. They're both about the same range, but physically it's more copper mass to heat up, and again, a little bit more tactile stuff going on there. And it all started out, I admit, we didn't have a branding iron yet, a new one, second version. When Ruben, he wears his Defender everywhere, which we all should do. And when he's in the town right now, he's got his Defender on. And people will ask sometimes, what is that? And if you use our kind of covert approach, it's a Christian fish, it's a religious symbol, is all you have to say. And oh, okay. The other ones where you feel comfortable, you would say it's a self-defense tool, not necessarily a weapon, but a tool. Oh, and how does it work? And if you discuss it, and where do I find it, right? Well, we don't have business cards. And I should have I know I have one here. We don't have business cards, right? Well, what business doesn't have business cards? Well, I'm one of them. And, basically, yeah, now I specifically put here it is, upside down. So when we're going to learn a little business 101. So I always say when I counsel or work with businesses, have at least 100 business cards in your pocket at all time. Business cards don't do you any good sitting in the box they come from. Get them out. Every time you pay a bill at a restaurant, leave a card. Every time somebody leave a card. Any chance you have, leave a card, right?
Sure.
You have no idea how well that can work for you. So anyway, Ruben didn't have a business card because we're a global company. We sell these things everywhere, all over the world. So why take any of your money and try to sell local, basically? Because we're not out that much. COVID, everything else. You don't. Although I have some, they really wouldn't work for us. Don't spend the money. And but he was getting people asking what the heck these were. And so I said, Ruben, here's what we can do. Business card 101. Do you have a business card nearby that you can grab by any chance? Anyone from anybody? Okay, your own. All right. Okay, now we see that. All right, go ahead and put it down. So when you're at a networking event or with some competition, everybody hands out business cards. The etiquette is you have to take their business card in both hands. Not, oh, okay, thanks. No, both hands. You've got to look at it. And you've got to admire something on it and comment them in a positive way on their business card. This is etiquette 101, business card etiquette 101. And a business card is sole purpose is not to look pretty or any of those other things, or I did it myself. Well, those could be okay. The sole purpose of a business card is to get you remembered, that they remember you. Amongst all those other cards and all those other people, they remember you. That means this thing has to be pretty darn unique in some fashion. Okay. And now they can have QR codes and you can shoot it with your phone and say, hi, whatever that. I mean, in my day and age, that was just coming out. It's still there these days, but you still see. Do you have a QR code on yours?
We do not have QR codes. That was the old card.
Right.
We haven't created the new cards because we're looking for a new marketing strategy for that.
There you go. Okay, now I would say it's a rock with a laser burn on it myself. But anyway, so with going back, and you met Kerry Sensei, I think, anyway. Kerry Sensei, big marketing guy, one of my guys. So I started a business of putting people's businesses on CD-ROMs, as you probably well know. Well, I was fascinated with these small CD-ROMs because if you could put video on those, this is in the 2000 era, that would be pretty wild. And anyway, so this is my current info card, business card. Okay. It's a CD-ROM. So what happens is, at first blush, it looks like a business card. By the way, by my finger is my QR code, way back in the day. But it's a CD-ROM. It's very obvious it's a CD-ROM when they get it in their hand. So Kerry Sensei and I were up at a huge networking event, probably 75, 80 people at this place. And I told him, don't give out our card until everybody else passes their cards out and goes through the holding it. And although they didn't do that, but anyway, and then you give out ours. And he did. And the first pod or group that he did that to, this woman grabs him. Oh my God, this is awesome. Hey, everybody, look at this. Look at this, what this guy's got. And she starts running around the room showing everybody our business card. Well, do you think we were remembered? Oh,
Absolutely.
you bet. No question. So Kerry Sensei at the time was a VP of a bank, and he kept his card by his monitor, like we have here. And I didn't know that till much later. And they came out and said, you know, Sensei, that would be me. I kept my card next to my computer for over 6 years, never wanting to throw it away because it has such perceived value to it. And I always joke, hey, it also makes a handy dandy drink coaster. To be my line. You put it down, you could use this as a drink coaster, no question. So
Functionality.
yes, hey, might as well. It doesn't hurt this, you know.
Sure.
So fast forward back to Ruben. Well, we don't have a business card, but we do have a trash can. And he goes, well, yes, we have a trash can. I said, well, we have a trash can full of parts that we're going to throw away from all of our cutting and hand making of our tools. Yes. Go grab a few chunks of it, peel off the paper, and with a Dremel tool or an engraving tool, engrave our address on it. So it started out to look like this. I'll put it up here. See if I can get an angle. And it looks pretty amateurish.
Sure, sure.
But, you know, you could see every color, all different shapes with this dremeled on it in a baggie stuck in your pocket. This now became the business card, which is in itself very unique, right? We could achieve
Sure.
the same thing. The people look at this guy's business card. It only has our web address on it, but it'll work. So we made a couple runs at it. Here was another sample just right out of the bin. You know, there's a nice little blue triangular sample, you know, and the shapes were obviously by natures of cuts. And so in themselves, everyone was different.
Sure.
But I didn't like, you know, the Dremel tool look to it. This wasn't as polished as I'd like. Then I said, okay, branding iron time. And I said, if I'm going to get a branding iron to do that, I'll get a branding iron to do our kanji at the same time. That's how the branding irons came into play. And when we started branding these things, they looked pretty nice. And I said, but we're not thinking big enough. One of my engineering partners of over 30 years, we were both very creative, and he'd come up with this idea. And he's the guy that we made the rotating signs and vending machines and all kinds of stuff. Made a lot of money. And he had started, his name is Anton Simpson. And so Anton would start out with his idea, and I'd get all excited by his idea. And I say, yeah, but if we do this and come from this side, this angle, if we add this to it and do this over here, and he makes it better, it's a great idea. And he'd go away. I thought he went away happy. He didn't. He wasn't. It was years later I found out that I insulted him every time I did that. I didn't know that. But he thought he had the right answer. And I always came in and added to it. Okay. So we developed what we both put together typically. That's where the real gold was at. So, okay, we're not thinking big enough. And that's what I tell Anton. Where I give an idea and Anton says, yeah, but you're not thinking big enough. If we did this, yeah, Anton, yeah, whatever, you know. So it was a really fun relationship to have. So I said, but what if we could make these a defender of sorts? And out we went. Now, the top part, as you can see, very, very much can be a defender. The bottom part can very much be a defender. It can be held in your hands. You could bang away at somebody, and this could sit on your desk as an ad for us, right? and no one would know that it's a weapon, except for the fact and it has
Yeah.
our address on it, which they could learn it, but it sits in your cubicle.
Yeah.
A lot of places don't let you have weapons in your cubicle. So, and thus we're going to have a chunk of video to show some other things like
Sure.
down this line. But if we got a line of these things going from scrap, everyone would be very different. Now, yeah, I mean, you can just imagine what that's going to do to you, right? Or to a bad guy coming in and it's chamfered edge, so you could cut, you could do everything, but yet this sits on your desk and advertises the Defenders. Okay, and so it's a different thing we're working with.
Yeah, I felt that one in my hands when I was at Defender Central this week, and it was fantastic. It was very comfortable, and each one of them has a different feel. I noticed when you did
Exactly.
it, like I felt like the one that you held first, it is as stealth as you get, and it actually is like two Defenders.
Well, it
You
could be. Yes.
snap that apart, and you have one in each hand,
Well, good luck
and
snapping that
reconfigure.
apart, by the way. That's so well glued. Well, I'm sure somebody can do it, but, and then we said, well, okay, so why did the mad scientist start artwork? Um, and by the way, writing this looks like second grader did it. It's not right. But now we ink up our branding iron for PDWS and go ka-chunk, and it
Oh,
turns
very
out,
good. I haven't seen that.
no, there's a technique. Some you have to be so careful with it.
Sure.
But there's a pig in a poke, as we would say, in
Nice.
that one. And so, but why? These are Sharpie marker pens, and alcohol basically, and you blow through a straw and you make these designs, and or in this case you do whatever you want, and then you spritz the alcohol on it and then set it on fire. It's amazing. That's
Sure.
why we needed the vodka, by the way. Set it on
Sure.
fire. Didn't work as well as as ultimately we got 91% 91 proof rubbing alcohol. Perfect. And but going down the Pioneer line, well, I was trying to figure out how to make this beautiful artwork. Could it be put on acrylic? Could it be put on acrylic? And there's our first shot at putting it on acrylic. Not
That looks
bad, huh?
great. Looks
Not bad.
fantastic.
So, and here we're in California and we went through the tie-dye era. So here we go. And that's still not where we need to go. We need a matte finish on the thing. There's a bunch of processes. We had a lot of failures. But as a defender, oh yeah, this could work out pretty darn nice if you think about it. And it sits there and it's colorful and there's
Nice.
no two alike. I mean, you can't order, yeah, I want it to look like that. Good luck with that. You get what you get, you know. But
Things
that
always moving in the mad scientist lab.
absolutely. And so with these, now last week we showed how you can take a CD-ROM and break it and have defenders, right? So,
Yes.
okay. Now I'm thinking, wait a second. Now I've been using this, which would be a good advertising tool, no question. I haven't found anybody that doesn't like this, but
Yeah.
you connect these two together into a cubicle, right? This sits by your monitor, this sits underneath your coffee or whatever. Hopefully we get the sticking problem figured out. But now if you, this is an automatic, there's no, this works the same as a defender. You get trained on a defender, you got it.
Sure.
Okay. This one you break, bang. And I'm hoping that it breaks like that CD-ROM does, shatters, and you can get certain parts. And so we're going to have to break one of these with this cork adhesive that we put on here is top of the line, right? So we're not sure whether we can actually get the tool, the broken bits and pieces off the cork board yet, which then might lead us to leave the cork board behind and go with feet. So, you know, there's this mad scientist approach. Okay, now let's try this. So we're down here doing all this the development, but you know, here's just an amazing little package. Now, as far as these, we can kind of sort of tell you what you're going to get, you know, tie-dye
Sure.
looks like that. This we don't know. And so we're still stuck with the marketing aspect of that. And so for a month or so, we're any orders to come in, we're just going to throw one of these in the bag, so to speak. You know, we'll let them know what it is, but throw it in the
Sure.
bag. Let them put it there. And I have some people, and if you know, 4 or 5 people want to pop up and say, "Yeah, I want one of these things. Can you send me one?" Yeah, make an order. Then the shipping's free. You know, this if I was to sell something like this, about $6, you know, 5.99, something like that. Um, but the shipping's $8.15, so it just doesn't make any sense to buy just this, in my opinion. Although working with the public, you always get surprised. So my hope is they make an order and I just throw this in for free, and they've already paid for the shipping. And then my only request is put it by your monitor or on top of your computer somewhere if you have any traffic in your cubicle at all or your
That's very
office.
gracious of you, and it's a big benefit. And
Well, I want
you
the
know, they should just tell you the stories about how
I
this is
want the
used, or
marketing
people
data.
asking about.
I want the
Yeah,
marketing data. You know,
sure.
if you're locked in this top secret area and you're the only one that gets in your office, I'm not going to get any data. So don't ask for one. You know, try to help me out here. You know, I just want to see if anybody notices it. And you could just say, oh, yeah, it's a friend's advertising. You don't have to send them to the site. I just want to know if they notice it and ask the question. That's what I really.
You brought up a point when I was over there last time in regards to that product, you know, and I really thought it was a great idea. You said about even with teachers, it is such a tool that would seem as if it is absolutely nothing, but would give that opportunity to have a self-defense tool at
Absolutely.
their hands reach without offending parents or other persons.
This in
Yeah.
one hand,
Yeah.
you know, this in
Teacher's
the
coffee
other.
cup or apple sitting on top of the coaster
Yeah,
and
yeah, and
your
go for it.
PDWS
Yep, and go for
logo
it.
defender.
Right. If you don't want anybody to know, then put a piece of tape across there. You know, but this corner with any speed in the side of the head, you're toast. I mean, and rinse and repeat. And the cork board really allows you. Well, you held it, and you could
Yeah.
see this could be a serious tool without even breaking it. You know, it's got a lot of mass to it, and so you
I
know,
definitely feel like if it was to be broken with your cork, you would have your pick of the pieces that are connected to the cork, and you can choose of the shards rather than looking all around for what piece had fallen or where it is. You could kind of have it all together, you know, smack down, and then pick what your pieces that you
yeah,
would need to
exactly.
utilize as your tools.
Corner of a desk, bang. You know,
I
I
thought it
don't know.
was a great idea.
We're gonna try that out back, but
Sure,
we have or do it in our work area
sure,
where they have a desk that simulates what a real desk is. You know,
sure.
so we're gonna try that and see. We may fail. That may not be an option, but you know, basically, well, then we could go back to we do have a CD-ROM that's a drink coaster. Now that we know will break nicely, you know. So this
Sure.
cubicle self-defense concept is starting to really grow on me. You know, that a lot of companies out there, no weapons. Well, I don't, my bathroom, there's a notice on the wall. That's from an old company of mine. No guns, no knives, no explosives allowed, you know,
Sure.
and we're a defense company. I meant, okay, whatever. But
Right.
religious symbols and or ad devices, it's just an ad, you know, that's all it is. It's an ad for a
Sure.
friend. That's it. That's your plausible deniability. So that in itself is kind of cool how we've taken this whole way of thinking out another way. Another revenue stream for the company and a huge plus up for personal safety in a cubicle in an office working area at your home. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's watch a chunk of video here. Last week I just floated stuff in. You didn't know that was going to happen. Well, now we can watch this, and it's an improvised defender class. Once you understand how they work, you start to see similarities. And even the Marines, we have improvised weapons. Anything can become a weapon if you understand the weapon theory. Otherwise, you don't. Matter of fact, this weekend I was talking to someone who I was showing these videos to, including the beer can video. I don't know if you've seen that yet. Have you seen that?
I have, yes. These
Not
are all
only is it-
available on your site.
Oh yeah, I know. Well,
They're all there, and I've gone
but people
through
don't.
as
People
being
don't.
part of Defender Central.
Yeah, well, people
It's
don't
my obligation to
go down through there. But
know
anyway,
all.
a lot of people don't see any of that stuff. And she said, I just wouldn't have thought like this. I said, I know I'm pretty weird. I'm the first one to agree that I'm a pretty different individual, but I think like this for people's safety. It's all about your safety. It's not about me. It's about your safety, not mine. So let me set the stage for this. I taught every Sunday in my backyard in Anaheim Hills. And so you never knew who you're going to get. And we had been teaching defenders. And I said, okay, and this is what I usually did at the dojo, the training school, is after everybody, 150 of my students knew about defenders and understood how a defender works so much better than anything else, improvised weapon wise. I'd take the drawer. We had actually a kitchen in that one. And I'd take the cooking utensil drawer and go out and dump it, literally dump it on the mat. I said, everybody pick a tool that you don't think can work as a defender. Pick a tool you don't think you could defend yourself with. They picked garlic peelers, the plastic ones, the rubber ones. You've seen them. You stick the garlic in and you roll it back and forth. And yeah, well, they'd picked that. A chopstick. Well, that's stupid. That's really stupid. But when I flew to China, I worked in China for a while. Nothing goes on that plane, right? Well, so they think anyway. But we sit in first class or business in one case, and they served us a beautiful salad with silver chopsticks. And I looked at Anton and I said, and they don't allow weapons on the plane. I said, do you realize how many people I could kill with this before anybody could ever possibly stop me? I mean, this is ridiculous how people don't understand weapons theory and weapon systems. So let's jump over. And if you want to jump in, I'll pause it. We'll talk about it. If you have some comments, this is something we didn't get a chance to do last time. And very dark place here. Here we go. Now we're going to apply it to standard kitchen implements. What you got?
Well, we like this so much, I want to add it to my gear. I mean,
it's great.
It's a big chef spoon, and I am a cook, so this is perfect.
All right.
There's so many uses for it. It's got the long handle. It's even got a little hooking device right here.
Y'all can come around if you want to see.
It's got a natural bonk.
Oh yeah.
So what we're gonna do first is right side grab, and it works like a Urara. You just basically bring him down here until he releases, and you bonk him in the temple. Very simple.
Okay.
Which I'll show that again. Bring it down, and then bam.
Okay.
The other technique was basically front choke, have a stick, step in.
Yep.
Just jam him in the throat. Get away from me, There was a cross-hand grab. I showed the same side grab. So from a cross-hand grab, just basically bonk him in the temple and then come back and strike him in the throat.
Okay.
And then the other one was basically we have the tool like this, bring it down like a Urara stick, and then come back up into the throat.
Okay.
Just slam them quick.
All right. Now, may I, for the sake of the internet people, if you grab, you still got this edge.
Okay, you still got a defender edge going. Okay, you don't like them. Okay, you really don't like them. You turn it on the edge. So you're hitting with this edge now instead of the flat part. I love this thing.
Got so much kinetic energy.
And if you want to get aggressive, you have a cup on, right?
Yes, I do.
You go for the face and pop around for the nose. Boom, boom. Okay, just boom, boom. Opposites, right? Thank you. Okay. All right, next. Hot dog making time. Let's talk up, use our dojo voice, okay? You don't ever have a problem with that.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm an attacker. She's cooking her hot dogs, whatnot, and then she turns around and I start choking her.
Just put this back to this.
Okay.
Fix the one and take the other one. Get your knife. The knife. You don't want to do that one?
Oh, yeah. Okay, say for instance, you're in your house, you're cooking your hot dogs, and you have all the visions of, you see something, you're like, okay, what is that? You turn around, you see an opponent with a knife. Quickly back up, and what you would do is you would take this weapon with this side, you would just throw it at their face, throw it, so they'd be focused on getting that, then you come in for the disarm, then you take it back into their neck and they're dead.
Okay. Standard can opener. All right, what do you guys come up with here?
There's several things. This is such a neat weapon. We'll try it off here with Robert right first. I'm just going to grab him like this.
I'm going to grab him, bring closer, and put it right between his collarbone and bring down.
Oh, yeah. Here, turn around so the camera can see that. Yeah, spin there. Turn this way. Yeah. So they can see that.
Bring it to his collarbone, push down, and then smack him in the back of the head.
Okay.
Right there.
Good. All right. Who's next?
Something for the mighty defender here.
Basically what I did was just hit him in the groin.
Good. Good job.
Easy.
Had a lot of weight to it.
I held it like completely opposite. And straight at the throat.
Okay, let's turn around so the camera can see that. All right. Boom. Okay, good.
The other thing we didn't do on this has incredible pinching power.
Yes.
You put any appendage in between there and you just crush it.
Yep. Good stuff.
It's really good.
Fun. Good can opener. All right. Wow.
Got a little jar opener.
Okay. This is for old people. This is a wrist thing.
This is a defender.
Yeah, it's a wicked defender.
Serrated edge. Grab the back of the ears.
Oh yeah.
Nose.
Oh yeah.
All the bonks work with it.
Yep.
So it's pretty gnarly.
We did it off of like boxing and kickboxing, right?
The guys have been trained that when somebody says, "Oh yeah, it can do this," we don't believe that. Let's see it. We don't believe that. The poor guy, we call him the Uki. He ends up having to deal with it.
A lot of kickboxers people do.
You guys don't know a bonk? Hold on.
Bonk. They asked to see a bonk. Oh yeah.
I felt that. All right, so off of a combo, right?
Let's do that kick.
The kick first. Okay.
Okay.
So the guy's trying to kick me. Right. I'm opening my jar of jam real quick, you know. So bam.
Oh yeah. Up underneath the nose.
Nose.
Yep.
Up on the foot.
And then off of the combo. Cross hook combo. Do you remember that one? No. All right.
So.
Wait.
Was it? I jabbed or what? I forgot.
Here. It's off of a cross. Yeah, blocked it, and then this one.
I forgot.
You forgot it. All right.
All right, that's okay. All right, good job, guys. All right. Next, pizza crew. Show them your tool. It's a little pizza cutter.
Many different things you could do with this. Sharp edge, of course. Show them the elbow. That was just a simple choke or grab. Choke, hit the elbow, hit the elbows, defender style or fixed edged.
What do you mean by that? So it doesn't roll.
So
right?
it doesn't roll.
Yeah.
Put your fingers there, and plus it gives it more power for you to thrust through and cut. Cut there, or just come across, open up.
Temple bonks.
Temple bonks, head bonks.
Yeah.
Knife.
Supersized pizza.
This is
It's definitely
pasta
a very
situation.
aggressive tool.
Yeah, the pizza place. The guy comes up to you. You're making your pizzas. He
Remember how I hit him with the?
all right.
Yeah.
Has a knife.
Yep.
Release.
Give me that supersized pizza, boy.
I expect that from Barney, but not from you, Larry Sasser. Knife situation. The controlling the knife and striking with the blade to the turn around.
Oh.
With the blade to the wrist, cut open.
Oh yeah. You can actually swing it with the ergonomics. Just
Trapping that. Of course, grabbing. You can use the edge of the blade. Grab ears. You grab the nose, or even just the metal parts to here.
or even put it on the.
So or to here to bring down, and then from here you can just go. See, I have my thumb. It's fixing the blade so it don't move. I'm here and it's just go boom.
Yep.
Right to the carotid artery.
Cool. All right, everybody back on.
He is the creator and sustainer of all the
Well,
worlds.
there you go.
Whether those worlds are known.
Okay, what'd you think of all of that?
It looked like they were having a lot of fun, and you got them interested in different methods and not being hung up on specific expected self-defense tools. So it kind of gave them the thought that they can basically turn anything into a tool.
Well, it goes with our theory that you are the weapon.
Basically.
And anything that gets in your hands, as long as you understand weapon theory, you're a deadly machine. But you can see the guys have a good time. You know,
Sure.
Fun and learning have to go together. If it's not fun, they're not going to learn. And I can't tell you how many dojos I've been in, and you could just tell that nobody's having any fun. They're
Right.
back in drill sergeant school, and beating them up and all kinds of pain, and that's ridiculous. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, as I always say. But the fact of the matter is, you can use, again, almost anything as a defender if you understand how a defender works. Although a defender just does it so much better,
Sure.
Why don't we sell cook spoons? Not defenders. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, it certainly works better. So, all right, let's jump over. Last week, I forgot when we got over to the crystal side of life, you were saying, hey, you have crystals all over. And of course, the natural thing for the crystals is to throw them like a rock, basically. And I did not show because I have my crystals today. But getting hit with something like that, I mean, even if you held it in your hand and hit him with it, ouch,
Absolutely.
And I don't know what the name of this one is. What is this one again?
That's selenite, which is used for clearing energy and white light. So
I don't know if it'd
basically-
break, but man, I could really go to town on somebody with, some kinetic energy action with something like this up their nose, in their mouth, all the way down. You could certainly use it to grab an ear.
Absolutely.
Stab in the
Again, you
behind
are
the
the tool.
clavicle. You are the weapon. Yes,
You are the
and
weapon.
so
And that is the tool.
That is the tool. And then these are ones you guys gave me too. And of course, obsidian. I've got tons of obsidian here, but you can see how nicely that would work.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know whether this obsidian would break as easy as my obsidian does. They you can smack it and they shard off really, really sharp.
Sure, they do. It's basically volcanic glass.
Yeah. So the ones we have
Yes.
laying around my house,
Sure.
they work out pretty darn well.
Absolutely.
Of course, those big ones you had,
Yeah.
that's the hairy approach. The old man
Absolutely.
Peter says, I'll be right there. I'll help you out. Let's go look at Jennifer's site for a second, okay? Just Jennifer's site here. And what you have, I mean, you could see how nicely some of these would become defenders. Now, of course, that's not why you're selling them, but hey, healing powers, all that stuff, and a defender.
Dual purpose.
Hardly gets better than that. But yeah, So now, obviously, these are machined, right?
Sure.
What do these hearts do?
Those are rose quartz, and rose quartz is a love crystal.
A
It
what?
initiates a love crystal. It
Oh,
initiates self-love or love for others, basically.
or I love to hurt people.
It could be if that's what you love.
I love to defend. But some of these are absolutely gorgeous. My cousins were gold miners, and they had lug boxes full of these quartz like this, much thinner, but
Sure.
just when they would mine wherever there's quartz, there's gold. That's what they always said.
Very nice.
And then I don't know why you got this one. What is that about?
That right there is we talked about it last time. That is amethyst.
Right.
It's an amethyst geode. That actually, when that photo was taken, it was near Halloween last year.
Oh, okay, got it.
So we were putting out sort of themed displays.
Now, what is that?
That is the labradorite. That is what the necklace that I have on is.
Okay.
And it is it's a beautiful reflective crystal that is a protection crystal, and basically it clears intentions. It helps give you a clearer on what others intend and protects you.
Cool.
More or less.
Now, I won't joke about these, but there you go.
You can joke away. It's all.
No, I don't.
All good.
Don't dare. Don't dare. And this is the rod that I have, right?
Yes, it is. Selenite rods.
Yeah.
Those are wands.
So there's her site. So if anybody wants to get into this healing, energy, focusing, etc., there it is. Of course, that'll be in the show notes as well.
Sure.
And with that, that was my agenda.
We did miss. I saw on your new stuff, your packages.
Yes, there's one thing. Yes, we got sidetracked.
I would like to see the packages.
Here we go. We forgot that. Here's a kanji. I decided this is the best ever value package. We finally got a big run in of the tools, so I could afford to do this. But we have a family pack version that's usually 4 Defender Black or 4 Defender Clear. The Defender Clears are $2 more a piece. So I said, well, wait a second. If I really do this well, we can get a pack of 8 tools at a super deep discount. So when you buy one of these packages, you can get all 8 tools in black, all 8 tools in clear, or a mix 4 and 4, all for the same price. So that's pretty crazy.
Sure.
Crazy good. And the reason why is that a lot of people will buy an individual tool here or there to give to a friend. Well, why don't you buy a chunk of these things and give them out to your loved ones and friends and have it very affordable when compared to buying individuals. And so that's a new package.
It's a big discount. I think you told me it was like 20%?
22% savings, yeah.
22%, yeah.
And then it's actually more than that when you go to calculate the difference in prices. I averaged the prices, so there's a smidgen more, maybe another couple of percent of savings. But hey, that's close enough for government work, so to speak.
Even for giving them out versus having them all over, you can't have too many of them around.
Yep. At your doors, at your choke points, in your bedroom. Yeah, we didn't talk about
in your car,
your
bedroom, your doorways.
So
to have them, you may not always have it on you.
Yeah, buy a couple neck rigs or a couple of the robust clip rigs that you clip on their clothing. But very, very affordable.
Wow.
And
excellent.
That's kind of sort of today's podcast. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay,
We
well,
kind of.
your Hannah for modification is ready when you are.
Yes. No, I need the whole. I need the top to do what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, well, we don't have a top for you yet.
Then it'll wait until it does.
Okay, fine.
I can start, but when I see you next time, I'll get that part. But I need the top.
Okay.
For what my plan.
All the stuff we went through was absolutely bizarre, surprising, and
Good or bad?
Bad.
I was trying to keep it. Oh, what is it? It was bad.
Well, it got me looking more and more at the holster, and the more and more I looked, the more and more I didn't like, and then it would fit some tools and not others, and we couldn't figure out why. And anyway, we found a potential solution, but I didn't like that either. So we're still in the instead of wrapping from the top, we're wrapping from the sides now. We're doing split stuff. Split to kind of grab the sides. We're doing a bunch of work on that holster, and we just have not found something that we feel is quality enough to put out yet. Yeah.
Now, could I give just a possible option? Yeah.
None are a solution, though.
What's that?
None are a good solution.
Well, how do you know if I didn't tell you what I was talking about?
Oh, well, I'm telling you that those holsters that we have that you would take are failures.
No, not that. A way of maybe solving the problem. You have a hole on the top of the one on your neck, and it's able to grab really well.
Yes.
So is it possible for a smaller version of that same kind of button that holds it in play and put the hole in the Hannah up on the blade at the top so it'll stay in and hold the way you have it holding with that? Is that possible?
Yes, we looked at that, but it weakens the blade tip too much. We're taking too much material away from that.
I see.
If we reversed it, that would be great, but the blade's hanging out, stabbing you in the stomach.
No, that won't work.
Yeah, it just isn't. It isn't where we want it yet. We tried friction, we tried friction tape. Even the friction tape worked pretty well. It held it in place, but every time you pull it in or push it in or out, it's going to scrape the tool. Which I don't care, but a lot of people pull it out. They want to see a pristine, not one that's scraped in and out all the time. And of course, even with these, when you pull them in and out, there's a line.
Yeah, but
it develops. But
I get it. What you're saying.
You can come
your method. What you had, what you had with that wrapped holster at the top, it was holding that Hannah pretty well.
But only certain Hannahs. Why? That was the other problem.
I don't know that.
And we don't know that. And we tried flaring out the top, coming in and clamming it a bit. Just nothing that we've seen yet. We've got something that's getting super close. Instead of coming from the top, we're coming from around it. There's some promise there, but we don't have a good solution yet.
I see.
Yeah. And it's mind-boggling why we don't, but it is what it is. And then again, everything that we try to put out needs to be super robust as best we can make it.
Absolutely.
Somebody's life may depend on getting it out of that holster in time. Getting it out of the holster never seems to be a problem. Well, that's not necessarily true. One we got so tight you can't get it out. It was like, I think we went over the top of the tolerance on that one. But so we still have some work to do. But the Hannah itself, the way that we sell it, with the lanyard and and whatnot, no problem. The basic Hannah itself is as we sell it like this, is no problem. Well, we don't sell it with the lanyard. We sell it as this part here. Well, works great. Super duper. It's just, where do you carry this, And it's such a great tool. It's asymmetric, which also leads us to a problem with the holster.
Right.
How steep these angles get to be leads us into a problem. So yeah, it's an interesting predicament. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well,
it may be a couple more weeks, but we'll figure it out.
And when a solution somewhat is there, then I will do what I planned on doing.
I mean, clearly, if you want, one of the ones that we aren't going to go forward with.
Right. Well, it's
more than welcome.
To give you an idea. That's kind of along the lines of what I'm looking to make happen.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. It's just that's close.
Right. That would be at least enough to do what my plan is, what I'm trying for.
Okay.
Basically. So
yeah.
If we could come up with that, even if it's not perfection with that, it still would get the general idea of what and where.
I won't put any nuclear waste on yours.
Okay. Copy that.
Got my tool out of the way. Half of them looks pretty good though.
Yeah.
The other half, maybe not so much.
Yeah. The hills of eyes.
All right, Harry, you have a good day. Thanks for co-hosting the podcast. Say goodnight, Harry.
Good night, guys. Good night, Peter.